Adebiyi, what would you rate as a successful campaign for Peter Obi and Labour Party?
I mean, the ability to galvanize this crowd, I think, is a big one for Peter Obi. Because when you look at the majority of the crowd around Peter Obi, they are mostly the new generation of voters, the youthful segment of our voting population. And he was able to maintain a very strong and determined hold on them from the beginning of his time in the Labour Party and until when the elections were conducted. So I think that's a major plus. And when you look at this crowd themselves, we need to disaggregate this crowd. A huge part of this crowd was a crowd that was voting for Vice President Yomi Osinbajo when he was, seeking to get the ticket of his party. Unfortunately, he lost in the primaries, and the alternative to fund was Peter Obi, because they were looking for people that more or less are not part of the establishment. I think who is considered part of the establishment. Tinubu is considered to be part of the establishment. Somebody that also positioned himself as not part of the establishment, unfortunately, and he's gotten the language, he's gotten the rhetoric, Kwankwaso. Unfortunately, for one reason or the other, his campaign could not actually spark the interest of youth across the country. But when you listen to Kwankwaso talk, you know that Kwankwaso understands the economy. And you know that Kwankwaso has a language that can be used to convince people to tow his ideas and what have you. Unfortunately for Kwankwaso, he did actually.
As an academic, one of the things I look out for is the growth of our democracy to the point where we are discussing policies in our campaigns. So this is one of the things that we're striving for, even as an organization in video. This is one of those things that we want to bring to the mainstream, right? So you're describing some traditionalist politicians, the establishment, and the non-establishment. But it also seems that you're also painting the non-established political candidates as those that are willing to discuss the policies and those that are discussing, and looking for and laying bare their economic policies for the masses. But at the same time, we're saying they're not really performing well here. What can we do to really bridge that gap and bring those, traditionally, or not to use the word traditional here, to bring those non-established politicians, right, with their political ideas, with their economic ideas, and bring all of those policy discussions front and center to the campaigns?
Yeah, I think to me, I was born into politics, and I started getting involved in party politics at a very young age. Working with the likes of Yaradua and what have you. I'm talking about the Yaradua senior, by virtue of the fact that my father was a big-time politician. So I understand this thing, that the message is not enough in politics. They talk about policy, it's not enough in politics. It's also about the structure. If you do not have the structure for mobilizing grassroots people on the ground who can deliver you, then it's not going to translate into you winning in the
do you mean the stomach infrastructure? We see a lot
no.
Where sometimes, when they say they have structure, what they mean is they have a network of individuals that they can, funnel money
No. It's more than that.
Okay, so can you explain to our audience what that structure is?
The way this structure of a thing works is actually investment. When I use the word investment, I am not talking about monetary investment, I'm talking about cultivating a political party, putting time into this. You see, when you go to the APC and the PDP, they hold regular meetings at the ward level. People that you won't see talking, featuring in TVs and talking about the political party, ventilating their opinions. They go to this meeting every week. They have registers. They know themselves. These are people that will cause structure Structure is not, it's not, we're not talking about ghosts. We're talking about people that meet from time to time and that plan for the growth of their political party in their various localities. So just like we talk about, we have planned that we want to do this in our life, they plan for their political party. They know if their membership is reducing. They are worried when they lose elections. And they always go back to the drawing board, articulating what they need to do. Imagine people that have been doing
the structure you're referring to here, sorry to cut you there. So the structure you're referring to here is being a long haul politician.
That's what it is. That's what it
hopping around. So because that's part of what we see though, when we discuss a lot of these non-established politicians, is that they keep going from one political party to the other. So you're basically saying having that connection to the community and having that in a very scaled version.
Exactly, that's what we call structure. And that's what we call structure. And the other thing with structure is this. They know that when they deliver their political party power, when appointments are going to be made, they are not looking for federal appointment at the community level. If they are going to do something in their local government, they know that they are going to be potentially considered. If they are looking for admission opportunity for their children into some of the local university, they know that they have somebody they can walk up to. They know that if they need a particular space to erect a shop where they are going to be, selling petty trading items, they know that they have somebody in government that they got their back, that is cutting their own back as well. So people have this elaborate understanding of what actually constitutes structure in the local balance. And that is why when Peter Obi came in as an emergency, I told people that presidential elections in Nigeria cannot be won on the basis of emergency. Peter Obi is not really different from Showore. When Showore came, it was a lot of noise on the social media platform. The only difference between Peter Obi and Showore is this, and I will mention this. And that is another thing Peter Obi benefited. Peter Obi is also a candidate of religious sentiment. When you look at antecedent of Peter Obi before he actually contested this ongoing presidential election in Nigeria, he was very close to the Christian communities in the country. When they organized programs organized by entities like the platform, he was a regular, person on the platform. And since then, I've been telling people that watch out for Peter Obi. And when Osinbajo lost that primary election in APC, majority of the Christians saw in Peter Obi an alternative. And that's another thing that Peter
as we discussed yesterday, there's nothing wrong with having a constituency.
No, there's nothing wrong. It's part of democracy.
So that's it's part of democracy. So I guess the flaw here in this segment that we're discussing the campaign of Peter Obi could be that perhaps he did not reach out to other constituencies. So as a result,
in fairness to Peter Obi, he reached out to other constituencies, but his message was not just selling. He reached out to non-Christian constituencies. In fairness to him, but the message was not sinking. And this is where the issue of identity actually cancels out identity. Just like I told some folks, I said in this election, religion preferences will cancel out religious preferences. Ethnic preferences will cancel out ethnic preferences. Party loyalty will cancel out party loyalty. And at the end of the day, it boils down to which one has the greater number. Which of these? Because people that want to vote on the basis that, I felt that APC was not sensitive to my religion, they will vote on the basis of that. It's legitimate in democracy. There's nothing wrong about that in a democracy. Whoever scandalizes this does not understand democracy. Democracy is about
I guess the bottom line is it's not about just voting along those lines, right? Because the tribal politics, the identity politics doesn't really serve the people. I believe at the end of the day, it comes down to what are the policies that will be implemented, right? When we all go out to make purchases, right? No one is asking us, are you
I
of
think
this
where people
tribe or
might
this
be getting it
ethnicity?
wrong.
The price of bread
Yeah,
is just going to inflate for everyone.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
so
agreed.
while
Agreed.
we can start politics at its base, I guess my point here is we should have a mechanism to graduate away, right, from that base instead of pitching our tent with our constituency, which is very right to start with. I guess, and this is one of what we're trying to achieve here with this kind of discussion and debate, and what we encourage our audience and listeners to do.
I mean,
Is that we want people to be able to graduate and reach out to other constituencies.
yeah,
Because when you become a president of Nigeria, you're not a president of one tribe or one ethnicity or one
very
religion.
true.
So
Very true.
the crossover, I believe, is what is
But when you look at all the candidates, in fairness to them, when you look at all the candidates, none of the candidates, when it comes to engaging the public, was talking about religion, was talking about ethnicity. They were all talking about their plans for the people. What we are talking about is what they do at the back end when nobody's with them except the particular constituent they are talking to. In fairness to them, to the best of their ability, they all marketed their plans and manifesto for the people and for the country as a whole. And they did whatever they can do to the best of their ability. Some of them were creative. They organized town halls. It's not just about town halls. They also organized meetings with professional bodies across the country, economists, lawyers, just name it. So that means that they actually did their best presenting their program to those entities. So the question is, what is the level of interrogation, the quality of the interrogation?
I believe, okay, so we're going to try to round up very soon. But what I believe, what I see is happening here is we, as a politician, as someone running a campaign, I believe they are reaching out to people on two different ends. And they use two different mechanisms. And I believe this is what happens in the Nigerian political space. On one end, they will reach out to the political, elites and the intellectual elites, and they will discuss policies, the professional bodies, and what have you. And on the other end, they are reaching out to, the grassroots, the structure, people that are not perhaps as sophisticated as the intellectual elites,
Yeah, sure.
and they have different mechanisms for reaching out to these people, right? You could tell the former set that you would provide these kind of policies and all of these, and to the later, maybe you're just giving them a bag of rice and you print your face, right? And we do all of this stomach infrastructure to galvanize support from them. And what seems to be happening here from our conversations thus far, we could see that it seems that we still have a lot of people on that grassroots side that do not care about the policies that would really affect their lives. And you have those on the other side. So my thoughts here is that we need to move people, as many people, from.
So that is the job. That is the job for you and I. When I use you and I mean the people in our category. You see, the politicians are smarter than us. Because in politics, you need to learn how to speak the language of the people. We, the elite, we are good talking to ourselves. We do well talking to ourselves. We do horrible talking to the people at the grassroots. If we can learn something from the politician, is the ability to actually communicate effectively with the people at the grassroots. If we do better communicating and educating our people at the grassroots, they're going to listen to us. Our people are not sold out to peanuts. They are not sold out to little things. But it's because we're not communicating to them. And let me go back in memory. Look at the time of Gani Fawehinmi. One would have expected that Gani Fawehinmi would have done well when he contested for the presidency of the country. In his own local government, in his own ward, where he would give electricity to people free of charge, Gani Fawehinmi lost. Why? Because Gani Fawehinmi did not actually cultivate the ability to communicate to local people in the language that they understand. And part of this is sitting with people, talking to them, training people that will disseminate our messages to them in a way that will make them to force a rethink. Because it's about getting into the psychology, into the thought-making process of the people. Those in the civil society spaces, they've not been doing this. And people don't even trust them. Those of us who are educated, people don't see us as one of them. They see us as living in the paradise, that we do not want to be associated with them. You know, these are the issues. Because we need to look at the attractions that people find in politicians. If a politician goes to a local community, people will run after them. Pick a part to Tommy, let him go to the local community. People don't even know him. There's nothing that's attractive.
I mean, there are two ways to that. So people may run after the politician to get money from them, right?
No, I don't want to believe it's about money.
So I don't,
because I've operated in this space. No. It's because I've operated in this space. Because I've operated in both spaces. I don't believe it's actually
more eloquent. Or let me even tell you ideas.
No, let me even tell you this. In the Yoruba, they call it Omoluabi. Politicians, they know how to do this. Even when politicians don't have money, they know how to talk to you in a way that you love their personality. You see, those of us that are educated, we believe that we don't have the time for all these kind of things. That you guys, you have to be objective. You see, the whole is life work. And when you go back in time, look at the philosophy behind advertisement. Advertisement walks straight into the philosophy of the people, the thinking of the people. If you want to bring about a change in a particular community, you need to get into their thinking process. Many times you need to come down to their level, spend time to build trust, and make them see that you are part of their story. When people see you as part of their life, as part of their journey, then they are going to give you their hope. They are going to give you their life. And that was the case of what is happening in Benue State, with the case of the Reverend Father. People have seen in themselves, in their own personal journey, in their struggles in life, somebody they can trust, somebody that believe is with them on this journey. Or like somebody who is a banker, goes to work with a suit, he doesn't want to associate with the people at the level in the community, thinking that the level is too low. I mean, people are never going to give him their trust. When these people say Kilon Saw, what is he talking about? People will look at him that this is an alien. He's not living a struggle. People want to see those who live and understand their struggle. And I think this is where we need to understand where we are getting it right as a critical elite segment of our political process. We need to do that. We need to learn that from the politicians.
Thank you very much for those thoughts. So, as you have it, so we all have our work cut out for us. We all have to get involved. We have to participate in our local politics. We have to participate in our local policy development. So this is very important for everyone to be able to continue to associate and interact with members of our politics, of our politics. So thank you very much, Dr. Adebiyi, for joining us today. It's been a very interesting conversation. We'll continue the coverage, the 2023 election coverage, here live tomorrow, and we'll continue to bring you updated results for you to be able to make and analyze them for you to make more sense of the trends behind the numbers that you see. So join us bright and early tomorrow, and we'll continue with the coverage. So from us here at Vigil and to all our collaborators, Summit University, to the folks at the Muslim Alliance of Credible Elections, and other collaborators that have joined in making this possible. We thank you very much for all your efforts. To our panelists that have joined us for the coverage thus far. We want to thank you very much for taking the time and efforts to explain the details and the nuances behind all of the numbers we're seeing. So we'll be back here tomorrow. So stay safe and bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Farouk. Do you need to report any form of incidents or injustice that's happening within your locality? I know you'd also like to update your friends, your family, and also the public as a whole. You can do this with the incident report feature on Middle app. You have the ability to choose the type of incident, to describe the kind of incidents, and as well to add photos and many more. To use the feature, download Middle app now on Google Play Store and on App Store. Thank you.